Christmas is usually a time for celebration, a time to catch up with the relatives you haven't seen since last Christmas season. However, that is not the case in my family. First of all, you should realize, I have a big family. We're talking generally about the population of South Dakota big. At a typical family gathering, I get to see approximately 3 sets of grandparents, 8 great uncles and aunts, 12 not so great uncles and aunts, and in the neighborhood of 47 cousins. Now, last Christmas was not our best example of displaying the reason for the season, and it was all my brother Josh's fault. You see, Josh thought this festive gathering would be a great time to point out, in front of everyone, that I had spilled eggnog on my grandma just got run over by a reindeer holiday sweater that my grandma gave to me just before she got run over by a reindeer. And that is when I lost it, and I kneed Josh right in the mistletoe. And then the next thing I knew, my Uncle Jeff was yelling at my dad about his out-of-control kids, and then my dad said that at least his kids didn't still pee the bed, and it generally went downhill from there. So what led to this tale of Christmas chaos? The true culprit here was sibling rivalry. Ever since the time of Cain and Abel, siblings have bickered, fought, and flushed each other's valuables down the toilet. But the question is, why? Over the course of the semester in parenting class, we have learned the do's and don'ts of raising a child. Do, give them love and support. Don't, give them crack and razor blades. But there are many things that we cannot protect our children from, namely one another. So that is why I have decided to do my final project on sibling rivalry. Whichever end of the spectrum we fall on, sibling rivalries have a direct impact on not only our relationships within our families, but on every aspect of our lives as well. So today we will try to tear apart the makeup of our sibling rivalries, instead of just tearing apart our siblings, by first analyzing the problem, then exploring some harmful effects, and then finally finding some solutions to a problem that's older than Father Christmas himself. So first, we need to take a good, hard look at the problem. Much like how Josh needs to take a good, hard look at the zit on his chin. In a nutshell, our sibling relationships are complex and often lead to conflict. And a lot of this is a natural effect of our birth order. According to an article on Live Science, last accessed on January 22nd, 2022, older siblings tend to be more introverted, perfectionistic, and intelligent, at least as measured by traditional metrics. And on the other hand, younger siblings tend to be more outgoing, sentimental, and despite their obvious intellectual shortcomings, tend to get better grades. And as anyone with a sibling knows, there is nothing to stoke a sibling rivalry like brains and grades. And as testy as our sibling relationships can be in normal times, COVID has pushed this to a whole new level of stress. During the pandemic, we find ourselves around our siblings more and more with every passing day. And while this may seem like a bad thing, in reality, it's a really bad thing. Rivalries can escalate really quickly. Like your blood pressure when you see your little sister using your favorite face mask as a training bra. The pandemic has pushed us to a whole level of sibling togetherness and stretched us as thin as an Olsen twin. And parents have also helped foster these relationships and rivalries too. But unlike the Bears and the Packers, these are real rivalries. Friendlies. According to the Davidson Institute, last accessed on January 22nd, 2022, parents often label their children by something they're good at. For example, in my family, it could be the outgoing child, the dance prodigy, or in Josh's case, the mistake. But by doing this, parents unwittingly pit their children against each other, like the Brady Bunch meets the Hunger Games. So, sure, Danielle may be the smart one because she always finds the best hiding spots in hide and seek, but let's see you all try to find her when I drop her off in rural Iowa. Smart one now, oh Mom. And having looked at the problem, Josh, we need to dive into the effects, which can impact us at all stages of our lives. It's not hard to see how a sibling rivalry can pop up so easily among little kids, with one being the instigator, the other being the follower, and the other one being locked in the hall closet for hours on end while the older two go to Dairy Queen for Blizzard. Sorry, Danielle. And from there, things just keep snowballing into our teenage years. A lot of us roll our eyes at the BO-smelling, uber-emotional teen. But teens are going through many changes, as well as a changing dynamic of their sibling rivalries. According to the Michigan State University Extension, teen and preteen years are the prime time for sibling rivalries. This is because children are getting stronger and much more stubborn, like Josh's BO. This causes sibling rivalries to thrive. And as adults, these rivalries can even gain strength as years pass. According to Very Well Mind, sibling relationships are complex and influenced by a variety of factors, including genetics, life events, and even parental favoritism. This allows sibling rivalries to fester. And this can also be manifested by your proximity to your parents, your shared moral and political views, and even who gets what's in Grandma's will. So remember, Grandma, Dad wanted to put you in a home a few years ago, but good old Sid had your back all along. Okay, so as anyone with a sibling knows, no one likes a whiner who always complains about every little thing that does nothing to solve the problem. So on that happy note, let's let Danielle out of the closet, share the cookies, and find a way to bury the sibling hatchet. For starters, since this is all our parents' fault anyway, let's take a look at what Mom and Dad can do to foster a more harmonious home environment. The Cleveland Clinic's Health Essentials website on August 13th, 2020 lists several suggestions for doing just that, by working together towards common goals and celebrating individuality by appreciating uniqueness and spending family fun time together, such as doing family dinners, family board games, and even outdoor adventures together. Steps like these can go a long way towards making our families more like the Tanners and less like the Kardashians. We can't blame this all on our parents. We do bear some of the responsibility as well, I guess. So we need to do our share of solving the problem too. And like most things, it all comes down to effective communication. And the University of Michigan Health Systems gives several tips for fostering a healthy community among siblings. By agreeing to give everyone a chance to talk, agreeing not to interrupt each other, and agreeing that while not everyone has to talk, everybody has to listen. And maybe saving the word poopy for its literal applications instead of its figurative ones. But ultimately, if we continue to see our siblings as our rivals, we question their motives, root for their failures, and are threatened by their successes. But on the other hand, if we see them as our partner and as our friend, it opens up brand new doors to whole new opportunities that we never even knew of. So maybe our siblings are our built-in best friends. Friends we live with, disagree with, and laugh with. Not just at. Okay, so not everyone has a family as big and as disruptive as mine, but whether you have one sibling or 12, there's sure to be a few odd eggs in the bunch. So today we've taken a look at the omelet of sibling rivalry by first examining the problems we encounter, then cracking open some harmful effects, and then finally scrambling up some solutions to help us get along a little bit better with our brothers and sisters. And if after all of this, you're still at each other's throats, just remember, we can always blame Mom and Dad.